Hello everyone, let's take a look at houseplants that fall into the genus of Dracaena. So I have a few examples here in front of me. I have the limelight Dracaena, the Dorado Dracaena, and then this is actually a lucky bamboo plant that also falls into that same genus, although they're not really very frequently thought of as Dracaenas. So some basic care tips for all of the Dracaena family. For the most part, you want to keep the soil moist but not wet. I wouldn't let the soil dry out too much, or else you're going to start to see some brown foliage, brown tips, which happens pretty frequently. You can definitely see I have some brown tips on my limelight and my Dorado. You know, it happens. But definitely don't let these guys sit in any water or anything like that. If you're not sure how much water is left in the bottom of your pot, you can use like a soil probe, which you just stick it down inside of there, and the meter will actually read how much moisture is left in the bottom of this pot here. Definitely something you want to check out. I do have an Amazon affiliate link down in the description below, and you can check that out. These guys are tropical plants, so they're going to prefer warmer environments, something above 60 degrees especially, as for most houseplants. And you want to give them high humidity conditions as well. They're definitely going to benefit from having a more humid environment. They are not going to do the best in drier environments, but they can definitely tolerate it if you don't have a humidifier or if you have a drier space. That's not a huge deal. For fertilizing these guys, it's very straightforward. You could use a natural fertilizer like worm castings or eggshells, anything like that, bone meal. You can also use a artificial fertilizer. I use a 20-20-20 in my Dracaenas. You want to be pretty sparing on the fertilizer, especially whenever it's artificial and chemical based. But for Dracaenas especially, you want to be relatively conservative with your fertilizing patterns. These guys too also flower, which is a cool little fact. So I actually have my Dorado Dracaena flower last growing season, and that's really awesome. But these guys can get very tall. Normally as houseplants, you'll see them range about 3 to 5 feet tall. In their native environment though, they can get like 7+ feet tall, which is awesome. Just on the note of native environments, whenever you pick out a houseplant, do some research and figure out where this plant originates. So I know that the limelight Dracaena, for example, originates in tropical Africa. So whenever I'm thinking about how to care for this plant, I'm going to try to do my best to mimic those conditions. So tropical Africa, we're going to have high humidity, it's going to be warm, very wet air, things like that. Very, bright, good sunlight. That's very important to note. Just kind of putting some thought into that will kind of help you better understand the language of your plants. Something else to notice about these plants is the amount of foliage they have. And on that note, you're definitely going to want to make sure that you're commonly wiping down your leaves. This will prevent pest buildup or things like that, which you don't want. And it will also allow the leaf to breathe and not have so much dust collected on the foliage, which is going to A, prevent the plant from breathing, and B, prevent all of the sunlight that's coming into your windows actually hit this plant and be absorbed as readily as if the leaf were clean. I use neem oil as well to clean off these leaves. You can just use regular room temp water with a clean cloth, or like I said, I use neem oil. It's a really great natural prophylactic anti-pest treatment. Also, just if you do have pests, a good pest treatment as well. And that's how you get these leaves shining like that. I have a link for neem oil down in the description below. Really great stuff. I highly recommend it to clean off your plants and use it as a pest treatment. So it's commonplace for you to lose bottom leaves as your Dracaena grows and it puts more growth out at the top. The plant only has so much energy, especially if it's not super happy. You're going to see, like you can see, we're getting a little bare down around this part. That's not unheard of at all by any means. So don't be alarmed if you're losing some bottom leaves on your plant. Not a huge deal. To propagate these guys, it's very straightforward. I could actually just propagate this guy here, this Dorado Dracaena. I could just cut off the stem, maybe remove 1 or 2 of these leaves that would prevent me from planting the stem, and then just stick it directly into soil, or you can water propagate these guys. Very straightforward, very easy to propagate, very easy to care for. As long as you don't leave these guys sit in water, don't let them dry out too much, and give them bright and direct sunlight, clean off those leaves, and don't over fertilize, and these guys are going to be really happy. Thanks everyone.